الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، ملء السماوات وملء الأرض وملء ما بينهما وملء ما شئت من شيء بعد. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, one of the fundamental hadiths in the Sunnah, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said one time, when a man approached him, asking him a very nice question that we should ask ourselves always, and we should always evaluate ourselves, where do we stand from this hadith? So he says to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he says, دلني على عمل إذا عملته أحبني الله. Prophet, I asked you to show me a deed, something that I can do, that if I do it, Allah will love me. And then he says, وأحبني الناس, and also people will love me too. So Prophet ﷺ said, ازهد في الدنيا يحبك الله. If you renounce this life, if you abandon this life, Allah will love you. And he said, وازهد فيما عند الناس يحبك الناس. ازهد فيما عند الناس means renounce what people possess in their hands, the people's belongings, people's positions. If you just ignore that and treat them all equal, as if they all have the same position, and not looking into their possessions, okay, what they possess, then people will love you, because they will know that they don't have this relationship with them based on what they have or what they own. You are engaging in your relationship with them because of them, because you want to have a good relationship with them as people, as persons, but not for what they own or what their position or the power that they have and their position in, let's say, in government and in private life and so on and so forth. So this is a very fundamental hadith, because it really tells you what this life is all about. You go and you look at people, really, the absolute majority of people relate to others because of their relation, because of their position in this social life, in society in general. Prophet ﷺ added another hadith to give us a better idea how to activate this hadith and put it into our life. What I mean by activate, it means some kind of an action plan. And I'm just little by little, when I give you that feeling of how can I renounce life, how can I abandon life, and at the same time be able to do my best and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and go about my life. What is the absolute minimum that I can do that I will apply this hadith in my life? So Prophet said in a very nice hadith, I think most of us know it, which is كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب أو عابر سبيل. Be in this life as a stranger or someone who is passing by. Be in this life as a stranger or someone who is passing by. That, by the way, this hadith is in Sahih Bukhari. So he is giving you, and let me really make it easier for you. Imagine with me for a second that you traveled to a country far away, China, to do some kind of business for like 2 weeks. That business will last for 2 weeks, and you're there, and then you will come back home to let's say to the USA. The question that I want to ask you is that when you go to China to go about your business for 2 weeks, that temporary stay in China, I want to ask you a question. Would you buy a house there? Of course not. Would you buy a car there? No. You might rent a place for 2 weeks or be in a hotel and rent a car for maybe 2 weeks, that 2 weeks that you're staying, but you will never buy anything for a permanent reason. No way. You will just do everything. Keep it in mind that I'm here on a temporary basis, and in 2 weeks, I'm going home. So it's just, I'm just passing by. I'm a stranger here. Okay, I shouldn't act as if I was going there to stay. So that's what Prophet ﷺ said to us in this hadith: Kun fi dunya, be in this life as a stranger or someone who is passing by. Why is he saying that? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very clear for us of what he thinks of this life, and he wants you to think the same way that he is thinking. What is he saying? He's telling you that لو كانت الدنيا تعدل عند الله جناح بعوضة ما سقى كافرا منها شربة ماء. Meaning, if this life, this whole life you're looking at, you're making the biggest deal out of this life. If you make the biggest deal out of this life, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah looks at it as less than the wing of a mosquito. Imagine this small little insect has a little wing. Allah looks at this life as even smaller than that, because he said if it was as big as the wing of a mosquito, I wouldn't actually, I would have never gave a kafir, someone who doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wouldn't even give him water to drink. I will just, in other words, they will not even exist. They're actually smaller than that in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are making the biggest deal out of this life. And that's why it is being reflected on our actions, our deeds. We are so protective, we're so fearful of this things happening to us in our life, and forgetting that someday we're gonna, go and meet the Creator Himself, who puts us here on this life. So we should keep this hadith in our mind and understand this is the way we should look at life, the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to look at life. It's just don't make the biggest deal out of it. Be here on a temporary basis. Be here on a temporary basis, and always remember that God's will always prevail. Allah's will always prevail, and your will and my will never prevail. Unless, of course, it matches God's will. So always look and try to see what does Allah want from you, so that you can do it in this life, because otherwise it's just not going to happen. He is telling you that He is the Creator, and He wants you to think of it that way, in this life, as if it was smaller than even the wing of a mosquito. Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ إِذَا أَحَبَّ عَبْدًا حَمَاهُ عَنِ الدُّنْيَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He loves you, if He gets to the stage that He loves you, He will protect you from this life. Life is just one little station that you're going to go through, and it's going to decide how high or how low you are going to be in the hereafter. And the way we look at this life is by looking at our big standard, which is Prophet ﷺ. The closer you are to this standard, to the way Prophet ﷺ lived his life, the higher you will be in heaven, inshallah, or God forbids, the lower you will be. The Prophet Muhammad is, ﷺ, is the standard in this life, and that's what we always got to keep our eyes. What matters and what doesn't matter in our life. So Ibn Taymiyyah wanted to give us, the great scholar Ibn Taymiyyah, wanted to make it easier for us to understand this zuhud. Means, how can I renounce life and abandon life, yet be able to live it? Of course, it's a work of the heart. As you go about your life, how can you renounce it and abandon it? By deep inside your heart, knowing that this is just not a big thing in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I shouldn't make a big deal out of it. I should just do my best, okay? Yet, in my heart, understand that who is actually in charge is Allah. It's not those people that I'm looking at, okay? So, Ibn Taymiyyah said, the way you look at things, you have some kind of a data bank in your mind or in your brain. You start looking at things, whatever matters in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will start doing it. So you start facing things in your life. How am I going to evaluate them? Not me evaluating it. I will evaluate them in the eyes of Allah. Is this going to benefit me in the hereafter? If it is going to benefit me, then I will do it. And if it's not going to benefit me, or might even harm me in the hereafter, I will not do it. So that's how I look at things in this life. Always remember that everything I do in this life, I will have some kind of a standard. The standard is this going to score in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I going to score with him? Is this going to be a big check right there? Yes, I will do it. And if it's not, then you know what? I will just put it on the side. I will not do that thing, and I will avoid doing it. Okay, so that is the way you look at this zuhud, and which is how to renounce and abandon life. Another action plan that you can go about, another action plan is through these two hadiths. Prophet ﷺ was approached by a man. We all know this hadith, and the man said, "Please advise me, Prophet Muhammad." He says to him, "La taghdab, do not get angry." And he said, "Advise me." He said, "La taghdab," and then advise me. La taghdab means do not get angry, do not get mad. Why is that? Because the scholars made the biggest deal out of this hadith. Why? Because they are saying that if you are angry, that means you are not satisfied with God's will. You are going against God's will. Imagine with me for a second. When you got angry, you were approached with something that made you angry. That thing that you were approached with was pushed by God himself. Allah himself pushed that thing in front of you to test the level of your faith. And that's when you failed, God forbids, and you became angry. So every time you are angry or become angry, understand that he will be angry at you at some kind of a level, different levels of anger. So that is why you understand that I'm not gonna really care much about what people's positions, what I need from people and all that. I'm not gonna let this affect me, because if you start caring much, that will get you too much, and then you start getting angry and you're getting too happy and all that stuff. He doesn't want you to do that. He wants you to be more in control of your life and do not get angry. And also another hadith, he said, whoever believes in Allah and the hereafter, let him say something good or be quiet. So out of your mouth, nothing but good has to come out. You do not complain, you do not whine, do not get angry. Remember, these two hadiths are the action plan for you to submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and accept what comes at you. And this way you can live this zuhud, or this abandoning of life and renouncing this life. Ibn Mas'ud, great companion, we all know Ibn Mas'ud, he said to the companions with him, and of course he was with Prophet Muhammad, now he has his own companions. He said, "Antum aktharu salatan wa sawman wa jihadan." You are, he's turning to these companions, he said, you actually are, you do more salah, you do more fasting, and you do more jihad than the companions of Prophet Muhammad at that time of Ibn Mas'ud, when he was a companion of Prophet Muhammad. So he's comparing his companions with the companions of Prophet Muhammad. He said, you actually fast more, you do more salah, you do more jihad. But they were better than you. They who? The Prophet Muhammad's companions. And they said, those companions of Ibn Mas'ud, how come? How could this be? We are trying to do more salah, more siyam, more jihad, so we can catch up to them, maybe even go past them. How come they are better than us? He said, they renounced life more than you did. They abandoned life more than you did, and they loved the hereafter more than you. So the companions of Ibn Mas'ud cared so much about life, a lot more than the companions of Prophet Muhammad, and that's why Prophet Muhammad's companions are the best of the best that ever lived. They always looked at the hereafter. Everything they did in their life, they thought about, is this going to benefit me in the hereafter? If the answer was yes, they would do it. If it was no, they would not do it. They will just ignore it. I'm talking about a big number of Prophet Muhammad's companions. So a nice little dua that if you say it, I believe you will get to a very high level of zuhud, which is renouncing, and that's what we end our khutbah inshallah with. How you renounce life and you abandon life is just asking Allah to help you to do that. Listen to this hadith, and I will tell you what Ibn al-Qayyim, the great scholar, said about it and why is it so important. Prophet ﷺ, his dua was, اللهم نسألك الفردوس الأعلى, the highest level in Jannah. And listen to the next two very important du'as in the same dua. The next two things. There are three things he's asking. أسألك الفردوس الأعلى, the highest level of Jannah. ولذة النظر إلى وجهك الكريم, and the enjoyment and excitement of coming from looking at your face. He's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And والشوق إلى لقائك means yearning and excitement of meeting you someday. So again, أسألك الفردوس الأعلى, the highest level of Jannah. The excitement of لذة النظر إلى وجهك الكريم, excitement of looking at your face, is the same dua. And والشوق إلى لقائك, and yearning and excitement of the day that I'm going to meet you, Ya Allah. So what do you get out of this? Ibn al-Qayyim said in this dua, he truly asks you to say two of the highest things you can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Actually three. Well, let's say the As'aluka al-Firdaus al-A'la is the highest thing. But then there's two things that a lot of people don't understand why. لذة النظر إلى وجه الله, looking at God's face, is the highest reward in Jannah. Nothing beats this. You can have the best level in Jannah. If you did not look at God's face, Allah's face, you did not reach the highest level of Jannah yet. So that is the highest level of Jannah. And the highest level here on earth, in dunya, is a shawq, yearning to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala someday. Why? Because when you have that attitude of wanting to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all your life will change completely. You become a different person, someone who is so connected to Allah, waiting for that day that he will meet him. So he wants to just please him, not please someone else. So his standard of living, he takes people out of his mind. He deals with them. He does his dealings with them. You're nice and kind and all that, but your heart is somewhere else. That's why this hadith can really, really make a big difference in your life. And the two hadiths, or this dua, I believe, as I said, and the two hadiths that I said, لا تغضب, don't get angry, and don't let anything come out of your mouth other than good. Okay, these two hadiths as a practical plan in your life, and this dua, أسألك الفردوس الأعلى ولذة النظر إلى وجهك الكريم والشوق إلى لقائك. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. لبيك اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك وإنه لا يذل من وليت ولا يعز من عاديت. تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك وأغننا بفضلك عمن سواك. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.